Okay, so let's walk through the first type of problem that we're going to give you your homework. They're going to give you a massive drawing. Let me give you an idea here what you're going to be dealing with. B, C, D, E, F, G, 2, 4. Okay. Okay, so I got a bunch of things up here. It's just kind of a random drawing. Our first 4 or 5, examples are gonna be based on this one. This is kind of what they do for you in the homework. They're gonna give you this massive picture and ask you a series of questions about it. Like for instance, the first one is to name angle 2. So what they want you to do is give me another name for angle number 2 on that picture. So number 2, if you can see it, that is this angle right here. Can somebody name it other than just saying angle 2? What do you got?
ABE.
Perfect, that works. All right, so angle ABE, that was perfect. Now here's why. B had to be the middle letter, that's your vertex. Where 2 is sitting, there's a B sitting there. So that's kind of easy to see that. Now to get the walls, you have to kind of check out where the walls are. So you have to pick one of the rays, that's A, go to the vertex, and then pick the other ray. Okay, does that make sense? Ray to vertex to the other ray for angle number 2. Does that make sense how you name it? There's a bunch of different names, but that's a good one. That's a good example. Okay, let's do another one here. Can somebody name it? Give me another name for angle number 4. Angle number 4. Somebody else, thank you. Angle number 4. Say again. FEG. Okay, that works. Angle FEG. That's angle number 4. E had to be the middle letter, because that's where angle 4 is sitting. So E is the vertex. You have to pick from one wall and then the other wall. So F to E to G. There's angle number 4. Does that make sense how you're picking it? Okay, those are all relatively straightforward. Now, the next one. Angle number 1. Angle number 1, kind of like the others, this one has a lot of different names. Angle number 1. Tons of different names in this particular picture. Angle 1, if you can see it, it's up here. So thanks for those who volunteered. So somebody else now.
BAE.
Okay, good, there's one. So angle number 1 could be B to A to E. So I like to use A as the middle letter. Those were totally fine. Is there another name we could have called it? That was good, I agree. Another one. Okay, say it again. Okay, there's a good one. You could literally just switch the letters around. I like it, that was good. What's another one? Sorry. GAD, okay. G to A to D. So that's going from here up to A over to D. These are all acceptable. You can mix and match. As long as you understand the middle letter had to be A, because that's where 1 is sitting, and then you just pick dots that are along those rays. Does that make sense? Naming angles. Now, if the question was, can you name the vertex? Name the vertex. Here we go. Name the vertex of angle 3. Name the vertex at angle 3. What's the dot at angle 3? E. So how you write it, you just write this. You write point E. Because if they just want one single dot, write the word point. Does that make sense? What are you doing for the vertex? Where 3 sits. Okay, the hardest question about all this. I consider this one to be somewhat straightforward. Like this, you just got to get practice. You just got to get used to that 3-letter system. The hardest question I think that they asked for is this. They want you to name the sides of angle 1. Name the sides, the walls. So what they're looking for angle number 1, they're looking for the rays. They're looking for 2 rays that make it. So angle 1 is obviously up here. Can somebody name one of the rays and the other ray? So give me one of the rays. When you name rays, how many letters do you have to use? 2. 2 when you name a ray. You have to have the little arrow above it. So can somebody give me one ray that makes the wall for angle number 1? So here's angle 1. Can somebody give me one of the rays? This is the hardest question. This is the one we need practice on. It's one that the last class struggled on too.
AD.
Say it again?
AD.
AD. Okay, there's a good one. One of the walls could be A to D. The ray is going towards D. Because the vertex is where angle A sits, right? Because that's where the dot is. So this is one of the rays. It's one of the walls for angle number 1. What's the other ray? AG. They're there. They're there. Now, if you want to say AE instead, I would have totally accepted that. So there's your other ray. The endpoint has to be above A, because that's where the vertex is. The ray goes the direction of the other letters. Does that make sense if they ask for sides? They want rays. Okay. No joke, they're going to give you a ton of those. One of the questions might ask, can you classify an angle? Can you measure it? So if I ask you, like, what type of angle is angle number 4? It's acute. And then they might ask you to measure it. So they'll ask you to take this, go line it up, and tell me it's 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 8 degrees. So you have to go measure it. You can turn this however you want. So they'll ask you to measure it. You can just measure right in the book. If you have the online version, this thing literally sticks to the surface of your Chromebook and doesn't let it go. So it's kind of nice. Okay, questions on those first couple problems? Perfect. All right, put all that stuff away except for your pencil. We're going to do a construction now. We're going to do some constructions here. So I'm going to hand out some paper. We are going to turn this in today. This piece of paper, so you're going to need to put your name on it. If you have your protractor, you can have that out too, because I said you might need that. I don't know if I just totally put it away, but protractor is a good thing to have. So again, if you have your protractor, not a bad idea to have that out. Okay, here's what I like to do, just get kind of warmed up. We're only going to put a couple drawings on this. So put your first and last name on the paper. Do that first. So I don't care how you're orienting your paper. Put your name, first and last name on it, because we're going to turn this in here in a little bit. Okay, we're only going to put a certain amount of drawings, so don't go crazy and start drawing all over the paper. Resist the urges to do that. What I want you to do first, to get some practice, let's draw a 50-degree angle. So 50 degrees. Put it, so this is your paper, kind of put it over here, but draw your 50 degrees. Okay? Use your protractor, do it right now. Draw me a perfect 50-degree angle. If you want to watch me do one, I'll do one up here, just so you can see it. Now you can use the walls of your protractor to actually help you with that. That'd be actually really helpful, because it is really hard to plastic. Now when you draw your angle, make sure it's in standard position. That first line should be going to the right, horizontal to you, going to the right. And then you're going to use your protractor and kind of measure out 50. So this is the part where you have to figure out how to manipulate it and move it around. Okay, when you get finished, done, complete, compare it to the one on the board, they should look somewhat the same. If yours doesn't look like mine, maybe you were doing an obtuse angle by accident. You looked at the wrong numbers on your protractor. That can definitely happen. Jim. Okay, here's my thing. Did everyone get the 50? Does it look somewhat correct? Okay, so our first construction, what we're gonna do, you can put your protractor like just off to the side. We're not gonna touch the protractor for a little bit. Okay, so just push off to the side. The goal is to learn how to copy this angle to a new spot on your paper without the protractor, right? Because you guys just showed you can draw a 50-degree angle pretty quickly. That was less than a minute. You guys already had a pretty nice angle. But we need to learn how to copy it to a new spot. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Pick up your straight edge. I provided you the little tool bag, right? Hopefully they have the straight edge little plastic piece in there. Find a space on your paper where you're gonna draw the line that kind of mimics that initial side, that first wall that you drew, where you're going to the right. So find a space. Now remember, obviously if we're drawing a 50, you're gonna need room above it. So don't like put it near the the top of your paper. You need room above it to draw your 50. And I'll wait for everyone to get their first line drawn. Some people like to have it like perfect. You don't have to measure the size of it. The length of that wall does not matter. All right. Again, just kind of wait. Once you have your first wall drawn, just kind of wait. Now we practiced this one yesterday, so if it seems somewhat familiar, this one we did yesterday in class that we just need practice on. Is everyone good? Everyone's got their lines drawn, their angles? Okay, here's what I'd like you to do. Take your compass. You're going to open up your compass to a random setting. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be small, it's just random. And you're going to leave this compass this way for almost the entire drawing. Almost. There's one part we have to change. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the compass. You're going to go back to your original 50, the one that we drew earlier with the protractor. And I want you to put the pipe on the vertex. And I want you to draw an arc so it hits both walls like that. It's got to hit both walls. So if it does not hit at two different spots, I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you need to extend the wall further. That could happen. You can take your straight edge, make one of the walls longer, so it actually hits twice. But again, this was random. I had no idea how I opened up my compass. I just did it and drew that little arc. Okay, is everyone good on their original drawing? Did you draw your... And again, notice, I didn't hit the endpoints, I just drew it randomly. I did circle the spots where it hit, just so you can see them. Are we good so far? Okay, once you have that, don't change your compass, leave the compass alone. You're gonna pick it up, go to your new drawing, and draw the same exact arc. Now when you draw this arc, here's what I always tell people. I wanna almost draw like a 90-degree wedge, like a pie piece that's almost 90 degrees. This arc is clearly longer than the other one. Now, what you also have to make sure of is, did your arc hit this bottom part down here? It has to make sure it hits that original wall. That's something that's a crucial part, that when you draw this arc from the original, it has to hit the walls. Okay, is everyone good? You drew your 90-degree pie piece. People are getting done here. Okay, so now, here's what we're going to do. Now that you have your arc drawn. Still drawn there. Boy, it's going to get done there. Easiest thing is to turn your paper instead. Yeah, if you turn the paper, it makes it a lot easier. Yeah, okay. Now, here's the thing. Now we're going to change the compass. This is the weird part, because we just got done drawing both arcs. You're going to go back to your original drawing, and I want you to measure the arc that you just did here. So from the two spots I circled, right where it hit both rays, you want to measure this perfectly. So it's making your compass almost look like your angle. That's why we're doing it. You're measuring this gap, and you're using the two spots that I hit, like that, and it's got to be perfect. Okay, is everyone good? Everyone's measured it. Go over to your new drawing. You're going to put the pipe on this bottom spot right where I crossed. Notice I'm not using the vertex. I could care less about this vertex. I want this spot right here where the intersection was. I want to put my little pipe right there. And the pencil should be floating out here in the middle of nowhere. And what should happen if you do this right, it should be able to make a little X marks the spot floating out in the middle of nowhere. Again, that's just doing this. And I didn't change the compass. So it's just floating, and I made my little mark. Again, from the original drawing where I drew my arc, I'm remeasuring this arc right here. So if you're watching, I remeasured this gap, and then I went over to this new drawing, and that's how I made it. And X should mark the spot. Once you're done with that spot, what's the last line that I have to draw? Well, it goes from vertex out to X here. And use your straight edge, don't do what I'm about to do. Go straight out through that little X marks the spot. And they should be perfect replicas of each other. That's what I want to see on paper. Is it perfect in its drawing? Alright. So, get the arc drawn. Go already a new drawing, draw this arc. Draw the arc. Yeah, draw the arc. And make sure it's almost like 90 degrees. So yeah, go all the way down there and go all the way up there. You go. Now measure this gap. So take your compass, wheel, measure that. Yeah, okay. Yep. Measure there. Perfect. Go over to the new drawing and mark it. Yeah. There you go. Okay, does anyone else need help? Did it look somewhat good? Look okay? Okay, just let me know if you need help. Like, this is the time we gotta try to get it figured out. Hopefully they look okay. I mean, they should be almost spot on, especially if you're using the tools I gave you. This one should be a perfect 50. You can actually use your protractor to go measure it. It should be really close to 50. All right, how are we good so far? Last thing you want to do, go to a new spot on your paper. You should have a lot of blank space, correct? Go find a blank space in your paper, take your straight edge, and draw any type of angle you want, but make it big. Make the rays really long. So, take your straight edge, I'm going to put mine over here. So, this is my piece of paper, my other drawings are up above. I'm going to take my straight edge and draw any angle I want. I'm not using a protractor. I don't care the angle that I draw. That looks pretty. Any angle you want. You could draw obtuse, you could draw acute, not a straight angle. Don't be that person. And one of the last class, they thought it was funny. Good luck trying to finish this drawing. Okay. Everyone's got their angle drawn down below, and it's pretty big, right? You got some room to draw in it, around it. It doesn't have to be, don't worry about like spacing wise. Just big angle is pretty good. Okay, we're good? All right, here's what you're gonna do. Pick up your compass. Pick up your compass. You can open up to any setting you want. I don't really care. Now, when you open up your compass and you set your setting where you want it, we are not going to change this compass ever again. This is where it's staying the rest of my drawing. If you change the compass after we start, you've ruined the whole picture. So you got to keep this the same. What you're going to do, put the pipe right on the vertex, and you're going to draw an arc like we just did that last drawing, like this, where it hits both walls. So that was, again, a random compass setting, and I drew my arc. It should hit twice. It should hit here and here. If it didn't hit both walls, extend it with one of your straight edges and make sure that you hit both. Now again, don't change the compass. Leave the compass alone after you do it. Because if you change it, you've ruined the whole thing. Okay, is everyone good? Everyone's got their arc drawn. And you've left your compass alone, correct? Alright. Again, this works on any type of angle, that's the beauty. It could be obtuse, it could be acute, it could be a right angle, just not straight. Okay, what you're going to do, pick up the compass without changing it, leave the compass alone. We're going to put the compass on one of the two intersection points. I don't care which intersection point you pick. It's got to be one of these two. Not the vertex, but one of these two. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a mark out in the middle of your angle from that spot. So you're putting the vertex on one of those intersection points, and you're going to put the pencil out in the middle, and we're going to make a mark in the interior of your angle. It's in the inside of the angle. So it's out there. And once you have that drawn, you're going to go to the other intersection point and do the same thing. And what should happen, they should make a floating X in the middle of nowhere. I don't care if your X is outside this arc, if it's right on the arc, if it's inside the arc, I don't care. As long as the X is in the inside of your angle, that's all I care about. Did everyone make an X kind of floating out in the middle of nowhere? Did it work? Okay, remember you're going from one intersection point to the other intersection point.
No.
So
One here, one up here.
you drew your arc, right?
No,
Did you change your compass?
no,
Really?
no, I don't trust.
Draw this as otherwise. All right. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick it up, make the mark out here in the middle, make the mark out here in the middle, and they cross. Okay, everyone have it? Take your straight edge. This is your last line you have to draw. You're gonna take the straight edge. You're gonna draw from the vertex of your angle out to X marks the spot. Straight out there. Don't draw what I just did, but use your straight edge. Go straight out to X marks the spot. What you just did is you just cut your angle in half. So if I'm making this up, if that was a 60-degree angle, you now made 30 and 30. If that was a 150-degree angle, you just made 75 and 75. You just learned how to cut angles in half really quickly. You can measure, put your protractor down, measure it, see what happens. You can tell it's literally in half. There's two angles that are exactly the same size. So if you had a 40-degree angle, it's now 20 and 20. It's great, or it's at least super close. Hopefully your compass didn't move on you. Okay, I'm going to collect these names on the paper. First, last name. The tools back in the little pouch. I'm going to collect them back. You have homework. It's on the board, page 41. Here's the problems we're going to look at tomorrow. So if you start that homework, we're going to look at problems 9 and 10 tomorrow in class. And we're going to look at those last few, the 37 through 39. Wait tomorrow to do 9 and 10, 37 through 39. Everything else you can do right now, because everything else should be pretty straightforward. Okay? If you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. You can move around. You have 20 minutes. You can just work. I'm going to put the Apple keynote up here. They're talking about the new iPhones today, so I'm going to put that up on the board so you can see it. But yeah, I'm going to walk around and collect my papers.
Are we gonna need the compasses?
No, you will not need compasses. You will need your protractor though. They